All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely got to bring y'all this because it seems like Letitia James is in some huge trouble, not only with mortgage fraud, but it seems like she committed insurance fraud as well. This woman is a complete liar. We can all remember Letitia James ran on saying, I'm going to get Donald Trump. I'm going to sue him from everything he got. Nobody is above the law, not even the president. No matter who you is, you ain't above the law. But guess what now, Letitia James? You are not above the law.
What?
You ain't above the law. So we definitely finna go ahead and get into this video. And not only that, President Trump posted a video on his Truth Social that we getting ready to check out. Because Letitia James, she pretty much trying to turn the whole thing on Donald Trump. Instead of her telling the people about these claims that's against her, she want to flip it and say, oh, Donald Trump just out for revenge. This ain't right. They just going after me because I went after him. So she's trying to play victim. And I hate when people do that. So this woman ran on going after President Trump, had him in cold courtrooms with a corrupt judge and Goron. Remember, she was sitting behind Donald Trump, smirking and laughing, calling Donald Trump a fraud. And come to find out, she was the real fraud.
What?
So we're gonna go ahead and dive straight into this. I'm gonna show y'all this article right quick about them saying, hey, that she pretty much committed insurance fraud as well, lying about the properties and stuff like that. And not only that, Byron Donalds went off on Letitia James. So like I said, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones who always stay to the end and let me know in the comment section that they did, because it definitely helps get the video out there. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So as y'all can see on the screen, it said new in the Letitia files. Did New York AG Letitia James commit insurance fraud too? It looks like it. So we're going to go ahead and dive straight into this. So you see, it say in the Gateway Pundit, I recently documented how Letitia James misrepresented the number of apartment units in her apartment building when applying for loans and refinancing. Letitia repeatedly told banks and the U.S. government that her apartment building at 296 Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn only had 4 apartment units, when in fact the official certificate of occupancy for her building indicates it had 5. So this is like the paperwork right here. So she literally sit up there and lied. You know, like the woman is a straight fraud. So we see this that the significance is that Letitia qualified for lower interest residential rates with only 4 units, while 5 apartment units are assigned higher commercial rates. In addition, James obtained a government HAMP loan that was not even valuable to borrowers with more than 4 units. So she already lied talking about she had 4 when in fact that she had 5. But yet this is the same woman that called Donald Trump a fraud and he overpriced Mar-a-Lago. Like this woman is ridiculous. So it seems like people are always trying to charge somebody for what they are doing. So we see it say, separate from the Brooklyn building, Sam Antar has documented on his website White Collar Fraud that Letitia James claimed that a home she purchased in Norfolk, Virginia would be her primary residence, a designation that also garners more favorable loan terms from banks. Bill Poot, director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, sent a criminal referral to the U.S. Justice Department citing these problems in Letitia James' mortgage history. Then he say, firstly, this regards James' claim of residence for a home mortgage in Norfolk, Virginia, whether a home is owner-occupied or not, plays a significant role in how insurance companies determine rates for homeowners insurance. Owner-occupied homes, the primary residence in which the homeowner actually lives, are typically considered lower risk by insurers. They believe that these homes are better and regularly maintained and monitored, and that issues like water damage, fire, or theft are more likely to be caught early or prevented altogether. As a result, insurance premiums for owner-occupied homes are generally lower. These policies often come with standard coverage packages such as HO3 policies, which include protection for the dwelling, personal property, liability, and loss of use. So like I said, this woman is a straight fraud. She stood up here and lied about everything, and it kind of gets to me because I'm like, we was covering the fact that this woman was sitting here keeping President Trump in these cold courtrooms, lying on him, trying to get him arrested. And that when you get news like this that comes out and it comes out that this woman was the real fraud, And we know for a fact that President Trump was not a fraud. This was just something she was running on because she just don't like him. So she was trying to get him put in prison. So it's in contrast, non-owner occupied homes such as rental properties, vacation homes, or vacant houses pose a higher risk and usually come with higher premiums. For rental property, landlords need specialized insurance, often called DP3 policies, that cover the dwelling, liability, and potential loss of rental income. Since tenant may not maintain the property as carefully as a homeowner would, the risk of damage increases, leading to more expensive coverage. So it's vacant homes are considered even riskier due to the potential for vandalism, theft, and undetected damage. These often require separate vacant homes insurance policy with limited terms and elevated costs. Ultimately, insurance companies base their rates on perceived risk. Whether or not a home is owner occupied is a key factor in that calculation. Regarding Letitia James' claim of only 4 units in her apartment building in Brooklyn, insurance policies for apartment building vary significantly based on the number of units, with a major distinction occurring between buildings with 4 or fewer units and those with 5 or more. Properties with up to 4 units, such as duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes, are typically treated as residential properties for insurance purposes. These buildings often qualify for standard residential insurance policies such as dwelling property policy or even a homeowner policy if the owner occupies one of the units. These residential policies are relatively straightforward, come with lower premium, and usually include coverage of the building structure, liability, loss of rental income, and optional protection for items like appliances. Since these properties are smaller and often self-managed, insurance companies consider them lower risk. So we seen what her whole game plan was. So she was trying to get out of paying paying more money. So she's up there and lied about it. Think about it. If this was President Trump, CNN, all of them they'll be covering this right now. But you won't see CNN, MSNBC. You won't see none of them covering this crap about Letitia James. Ain't none of them gonna speak on it. But hadn't it been President Trump, they'll be talking about it. So in contrast, buildings with 5 or more units are generally classified as commercial properties and require a more expensive commercial property insurance policy. These larger buildings face greater risk due to the higher number of tenants, increased maintenance needs, and more complex liability exposure. As a result, commercial insurance policies are more comprehensive and customizable, often include coverage for the building itself, generally liability, loss of rental income or business interruption, equipment breakdown, ordinance of law compliance, and even crime or vandalism protection. The underwriting process for these policies is more rigorous and may involve property inspections or detailed financial disclosure because of the higher risk, and broader coverage. Premiums for commercial apartment insurance are typically much higher. In many cases, these properties are managed by professional firms rather than individual landlords. Understanding the difference between residential and commercial classification is essential for property owners to ensure they have the appropriate coverage to protect their investment. And we'll leave it with this right here. It said, by misrepresenting both the residency statute for her Norfolk home and the number of units in her Brooklyn apartment building, Letitia James may well have broken the law. Unlike minor errors or omissions, intentional misrepresentation is treated as a deliberate attempt to deceive the insurance company for a financial gain. Insurance fraud can lead to significant legal consequences, including substantial fines, court order restitution, and even jail time, especially in cases involving larger claims or repeated offenses. So it's saying in many states, insurance fraud is prosecuted as a felony carrying long-term consequences such as a permanent criminal record. Authorities take these cases seriously, and insurance actively investigate suspicious claims, often with the help of fraud detection units and industry databases. Being convicted of insurance fraud not only results in legal penalty, but can also destroy a person's credibility and future insurability. As Ms. James reminded us repeatedly during her legal harassment of Donald Trump, no one is above the law, not even Letitia James. So there we go right there. So we go over right here. You will see right here on President Trump's Truth Social. He pretty much posted this video right here. I had no idea about this video. We're going to get ready and check this out. Salute to President Trump. So he's seeing exactly what's going on because this woman went after him. So he's seeing exactly what's going on. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this video right quick and check this out.
Sweet karma for Insufferable Trump lawfare architect Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York. James is in serious trouble tonight. Earlier this week, a criminal referral submitted to Pam Bondi's Department of Justice by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which found that New York's AG stated a newly purchased Virginia home was her primary residence while she was working in Manhattan 5 days a week. That's tough to justify. A claim that likely gave her a better interest rate, which is fraud. Something she taught us all about. FHFA also claims James lied about the number of units in her 5-family Brooklyn townhouse to get a better interest rate as well. Also fraud. James claimed her father was her husband to secure another cheaper loan. And there are also allegations of campaign finance violations for spending New York taxpayer money to fly private on bougie campaign trips. A lot of stuff in this. James has been hiding from the media for the past couple of days, but last night she ran to a trusted bootlicker in New York local news.
You heard what he said, a trusted bootlicker. You know why? Because Letitia James is going to run she's going to run to somebody to interview her that's not going to give any pushback. She wasn't going to go to Fox News because they're going to give pushback. So she's going to go somewhere for where they ain't going to push back. They're just going to let her sit there and just spew lies and talk about Donald Trump instead of talking about the claims that's been filed against her. She ain't going to talk about that. So, yes, she went to a bootlicker.
For an interview. Take a listen.
They're saying that your house in Brooklyn is a legal 5-family and the mortgage on it is for a 4-family house. Is that true?
So let me just say that, Errol, you know, as any good attorney, I will not litigate this case in a camera.
Now listen to that. Instead of her saying, no, that's not true. Oh, well, I'm a attorney general, so, I'm not going to talk about it, but yet there was the same woman that was talking about Donald Trump was calling him a fraud and saying he overpriced Mar-a-Lago. Oh, she can say all of that on camera, but when it come to her, oh, I can't say this on camera. I can't do that. She's a fraud. She couldn't even answer it because she knows she's a liar. It's on paperwork that she did this.
It's important that we will respond to these allegations at the appropriate time.
The appropriate time is now.
In an appropriate way. But I will not go back and forth with respect to these baseless allegations.
Wow. Baseless. Baseless.
I don't want to go back and forth because they're not baseless. Because it's documents with her name on it.
Exactly.
Because it's so obvious, right?
And you can see like that the guy that was interviewing her, he up here saying, well, this is what they saying. It ain't about this what they saying. Her name is on paperwork. With him even starting it off, all he should have said was, look, Letitia, your name is on this paperwork. You signed it. Instead of him saying, well, this is what they saying. When it's paperwork with her name on it. That's why I'm saying she went to a bootlicker.
But in time, she's going to respond. Right. Much like her office's statement from earlier this week, there is no denial. There's just a lot of empty rhetoric. Here is more.
The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour. He went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women.
He went after illegal immigrants, ma'am. He didn't just go after immigrants. He went after illegal immigrants who do not supposed to be here. That's who he went after. Now she's saying, oh, he went after women. No, he did not go after women. You ain't nothing but a liar. See, this is what she's doing. She don't want to answer questions about the claims that's against her with this mortgage fraud, insurance fraud. She don't want to talk about that. She just want to say, oh, this is a revenge tour. He went after me. He went after women. He went after immigrants. No, he went after illegal aliens who do not supposed to be here. See, she ain't answering any questions. She just want to turn this whole thing around on Donald Trump.
Thousands of federal employees right now are unemployed.
Ain't nobody talking about that.
The government is in chaos and in disarray.
We ain't talking about the government.
Immigrants, women. She's the worst actress you've ever seen.
Exactly.
You gag when you see her talk. She won't discuss anything because there's really nothing to discuss, of course. These are all documents that she signed. The proof appears to be undeniable. We spoke earlier this week with the man that dug it all up, of course, and last night James admitted that the Virginia home that she claimed as her primary residence while she was New York's Attorney General was in fact being inhabited right now by her own family members, which explains why the occupant was so rude to two Daily Caller.
Exactly. If y'all go back and watch my video I did 2 days ago, It was two people that was standing that was in that house. One woman, the house that's supposed to be Letitia James had a no trespassing sign in it. And soon as them folks pulled up, them reporters pulled up, get away from my house. I'm not answering any question. That's because Letitia James alerted them that them reporters was going to come to them houses and to see if she stayed there. So she alerted them, and that's the reason why both of them was so rude. They blurred out their face and stuff like that. But that's why they were so rude, because Letitia James alerted them that they was coming to them houses. Like, this is crazy. And I said the same thing.
Which explains why the occupant was so rude to two Daily Caller reporters who arrived simply to ask a few questions.
The driveway.
Look how rude they is.
No comment? Okay, well, who lives here? Who lives here, ma'am? No comment.
Look at this. No comment. You're trespassing. No comment. The woman can't even say she stay there. So they asking her, hey, who stays here? No comment. You're trespassing. The first woman they went to said the same thing. Get away from here. You're trespassing. So it just goes to show you everything you need to know, that Letitia James is a fraud. She lied. She needs to be in prison.
What?
Got worse than that, too. Why so angry, I wonder? Maybe because she knows that she's the benefactor of one of Tish James' multiple alleged real estate schemes.
Yep.
How many people do you know keep a no trespassing
Exactly.
sign in their front yard? There's
front.
actually two of those in that yard. There's one there, and then there's another one on the light pole. Tish James' niece apparently needs two no trespassing signs in the front yard of a house in a neighborhood. Here's a little more from last night's interview.
I was under the impression by all of this that what they were really looking for is what they got, which is a headline saying.
How is they looking for a headline, you dummy? It wasn't a headline. This is documented with her name on it. What are you talking about? They was looking. No, Letitia James was looking for a headline the whole time that she ran on saying, I'm going to go after Donald Trump. I'm going to get him. I'm going to keep him in them cold courtrooms. She had Judge and Gore in her back pocket. That's why she was in the courtroom smirking and laughing and sitting behind Donald Trump, because she wanted all those headlines. Oh, now since it's on her, oh, they just want headline. No. This woman is a fraud, but yet she called Donald Trump a fraud. See, I can't stand when you got like hosts like this that kiss butt instead of being fair and calling Letitia James out. Saying, Letitia, your name is on this paperwork. Did you write that? Your name is on it. But he won't say that. He just want to say, oh, they just going after you. They just looking for a headline. Now, I can't stand people that do this.
Tish James is under a criminal investigation. Is that pretty much what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what they got. That's what they got.
No, that's what they got.
That you have some of these right-wing conservative individuals who are camped out in front of my home and in front of the homes of my relatives in Virginia.
No, what you mean your homes or your relatives in Virginia? You said you stayed there. You didn't say your family stayed there. You put down that you stay there. So now I'm telling you, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then a lot of the neighbors that surround that neighborhood said they never seen Letitia James there. Never seen her there.
Passing them each and every day. It is nothing more than a headline, nothing more than, again, retaliation against all of the actions that I have taken successfully against Donald Trump.
You ain't good, not successfully.
She's complaining. She wants sympathy because her family's being harassed. I mean, how rich. How unbelievable.
Yeah, talking about her family being harassed, but yet this woman been harassing Donald Trump the last 4 years. Every time we seen Letitia James, what was she talking about? I'm going to go after Donald Trump. He's a fraud. I'm going to put him in prison. You harassed this man for years. You harassed him for years. And now you want to say, oh, reporters, they harassing my family members. How you think Melania, how you think Barron, how you think Eric, how you think Don Jr., how you think they feel about you harassing President Trump, their dad? How you think they feel? They feel like you was harassing him. So now when the shoe was on the other foot, oh, now you want to play victim. Oh, they harassing my family. This woman is a fraud.
Rich, and this isn't retaliation, Tish. You're sleeping in the bed that you made.
Yep.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board calling it the lawfare boomerang.
Yep.
Her civil prosecution of Mr. Trump for overvaluing his assets was a weak case in which there was no real victim. Again, the bank testified on Trump's behalf, but she kept saying no one is above the law. She pushed it as hard as she could.
Yep.
Exactly. They prosecuted Trump for a tactic that's been used by every single developer in this city, maximizing asset valuations. Everybody does it, but they didn't go after anyone but him. It was so egregious he won the election, largely based off of it.
Yep.
It was so insane, the governor of this state had to go on the radio to calm the nerves of other New York developers, basically saying that this was only about Trump, don't worry.
I think that this is really an extraordinarily unusual circumstance that the law-abiding and rule-following New Yorkers who are business people have nothing to worry about because they're very different than Donald Trump and his behavior.
Yeah, they're very different, Kathy. They're not running for president against the establishment government of the United States. As Tish James built this ridiculous case against Trump, documents indicate she was actively engaging in real estate fraud herself and had plenty more in her past. Think about what kind of person, what kind of sociopath can put this case together knowing this about herself. This isn't revenge on Tish James. This is justice. She's about to be swallowed by the trap that she created herself.
Exactly.
And now she's blaming us. She's blaming conservative media for all this, saying it's all just a ruse. The man who dug all this up, Sam Antar, former fraudster turned fraud investigator, clearly stating on X, no one paid me, no one hired me, no one told me what to say or do. There's no political angle, just the public record and your own signatures. So let's be absolutely clear. The allegations against you are not baseless.
Exactly. Salute to Sam Antar. So she's saying she's trying to say it's baseless and Donald Trump is on a revenge tour. This is what she's saying when Donald Trump didn't even bring this up. This guy, Sam Antar, brought this up. And then when you look into it, when you went to lying, saying that you stayed somewhere that you don't, when it was 5, but you put down, it was only 4 wet duplexes or whatever, you straight lied. And the same thing you did, you tried to blame, what you did blame President Trump for. Overpricing Mar-a-Lago, he did this, he did that. And come to find out you've been doing this. And this is what it is.
And for the record, complaints about Tish James' Brooklyn home scam had been pouring in long before Trump even went on trial. New York Times reporting this. Her neighbors knew the Attorney General was scamming the system. They were reporting her to the city. It's been happening for a while.
See, the other
for now,
neighbors
though, Tish James remains defiant.
Now look at that. The neighbors complained about the scam. Oh, ain't that something? The neighbors.
I will not be silenced. I will not be bullied. I will not bend. I will not break. And I will not bow to anyone. No one is above the law, including the President of these United States.
Yeah, no one's above the law. Huh?
Oh, nobody's above the law.
She's not going anywhere. She's throwing a fundraiser for herself next week.
She said she would not bend, she would not break. Nobody is above the law. And you ain't either, Letitia James. You ain't above the law at all. Let's just say that. But let's check out this last clip of the day. Byron Donald says Letitia James needs to be investigated and held accountable over mortgage fraud claims. Let's check this out.
On Valentine's Day a year ago, roses are red, violets are blue. No one's above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Happy Valentine's Day. She, of course, referring to Donald Trump. Our next guest using that tweet against her. No one is above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Letitia James. Florida Congressman and Florida gubernatorial candidate Byron Donalds
Salute to Byron Donalds.
With us. Congressman, it's great to see you. Pretty ironic. Karma, payback, revenge, all of them apply here. Do you think the DOJ actually charges her?
Well, look, if it's clear that she violated the law and she was committing mortgage fraud, not to mention, as I understand it, if you're going to be the New York Attorney General, how are you claiming that you live in another state? That just doesn't work. And so if all these things pan out to be true, she should be charged. She was quick to charge Donald Trump, saying that he put fraudulent information on a loan application. Well, that's what she's accused of doing right now. And she also accused Donald Trump of saying that Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. I mean, we all know that was just stupid and a lie. So if they go through their investigation and they find evidence, probable cause, that she was committing mortgage fraud for her own benefit, of course she should be charged. That's the way our system of justice works.
It all happened in 2023. So that's when she falsified these records, allegedly. And that was the same year she put Donald Trump on trial. Do you have any concerns about her being married to her father? Is that something we need to look into?
Listen, I think everybody's got concerns about that one. That's just not something that everybody thinks is cool. I don't. It's just weird to quote.
Ain't that something to sit there and say that you was married to your father to try to help you out with your taxes? Just straight lied. How disgusting is that? To say you are married to your own father. I mean, and then when you think about all this, you like, look at what this woman was saying about Donald Trump, was trying to get this man thrown in prison, was trying to sue this man for $500 million. Think about all of that.
A former person running for the vice presidency that we won't talk about. But look, at the end of the day, this is what happens. You have these officials who want to go on these witch hunts while at the same time they're doing dirt behind the shadows. In the shadows. It's simply wrong. She should be held accountable like anybody else.
Salute to Byron Donalds, man. So there we go right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments section. I definitely had to cover this. This woman is done. So hopefully, Trump DOJ do charge this woman. She's a liar. The woman said she was married to her own father. Like that right there is just sick. And just lied about everything, saying she stayed in Norfolk, but she didn't. Like, this is insane. So like I said, thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you did make it to the end, please let me know that you did watch the entire video. I really, really appreciate it. And I catch y'all in the next one.